Hi everybody, this is Noel Blanco for the Eating and Exercise Timing Fitness Plan, and I'm here to talk about Swedish intervals. Swedish intervals is one of the EAT workouts that creates the metabolic window. The EAT metabolic window is essentially that time when your body needs to replenish the energy stores that you used up during a good fat burning workout, because Swedish interval workouts, like the other recommended EAT workouts, break down your muscles, and so when you do this, you actually need to put in more energy, these complex carbohydrates and so on, in order to replenish your energy stores and to help your body rebuild your muscles, right? So this is how it's done. This is John Postone doing one of his Swedish interval workouts on a jump rope, and this is me. This is me doing one of my Swedish interval workouts, and I'm doing stepping right there. Okay, so how are Swedish intervals done exactly? Well, Swedish intervals, first of all, are done ideally using a continuous movement of sorts, such as running, jumping rope, stepping, biking, and so on, right? And they're broken up into one minute intervals. After like 2-3 minutes of a warm up, which you would do maybe with the same exercise, just at a much lower intensity than you plan on doing them. Then you go 1 minute really fast, like the fastest that you could do. You could go, for example, on the jump rope, at a certain intensity that you can maintain for 1 minute. Now, it is recommended that you go as fast as possible in order to properly break down your muscles and to send that signal to your body that you are definitely more active at this time, and to ramp up your metabolism and so forth. But always please remember the first rule of EAT exercises, in that while it is best that you challenge yourself with each workout, it's still more important to not get injured, right? So those are some key words there. The workout should be challenging, right? But should never get you close to injury. They should never hurt you, right? They should never hurt you in such a way that you need to go to the hospital or whatever. Again, we're doing all this, EAT exercises, EAT workouts, whatever, for better health, for better fitness, and so on. So it really doesn't make sense for us to hurt ourselves in order to get to that goal, right? It's silly. All right. So 1 minute really fast. Then, of course, Swedish intervals don't end after that 1 minute. They usually go up until 20 minutes, right? But it's really unreasonable to ask a person to do like the fastest they can go for a particular exercise, such as jump rope, and then have him or her sustain it for a full 20 minutes. So that's why we have these 1 minute interval rests, right? But to still give your body that clear message that you are more active, your metabolism should ramp up during this time, and you need the energy to replace your stores afterward. You shouldn't completely stop. So what you do is maybe do the same exercise, but at a lower intensity, or another exercise that will still keep you moving, but will allow your body to rest for that 1 minute. So, for example, you see in my video that I do the side-to-side thing, which John taught me. It's like sidestepping, and sometimes I do jogging, but my primary workout for this time is actually stepping, right? Right, so something like that. Or maybe, for example, if your Swedish interval is running, then you could go to jogging or walking, which are essentially less intense versions of running, right? Okay, so you continue that fast minute, slow minute, then another fast minute, another slow minute, until you finish your 20 minutes. Then you have like a 1, 2, or 3 minute cool down afterward, right? So that's still less than 30 minutes total. So, many of you are asking right now, should I, what if I can't exercise to this intensity, does that mean that I will never get the benefits of these great EAT exercises, these great EAT workouts? Is the metabolic window forever closed to me? Well, the answer is no, thankfully, right? So John has what he calls his EAT quick start intervals, which you can see here now with eater Tony, in that you should start at the intensity that you are able to do right now, right? So I mentioned that the workout should be challenging, and that of course is entirely dependent on the person, right? What the challenge level for me will be completely different for a challenge level for like a 60-year-old female or anyone else for that matter, right? So perform the workouts that you feel in such a way that you feel most comfortable with them, right? So you don't need to push yourself like I do and how John does his workouts. Just do your best with those workouts, and as long as you finish the recommended time. And again, I mentioned that the Swedish interval workouts last about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes for some people. But again, that will depend entirely on the person, right? It might be different, might be shorter, might be only 10 or 15 minutes per person, right? But during these interval workouts, it's important that we also make the most of them. So, we'd still do our best during this workout. We don't do them, just to fill in time or whatever, right? And it also doesn't mean that we need to follow that exact format if we don't want to. Everything on EAT is, again, guidelines, not rules. Nothing is ever forced on you. But, of course, we always want to recommend what's best, right? What's best and most ideal. But if you can't do the fast, slow format, as long as you do some sort of exercise that can fill in during the best times to do certain activities, certain exercises, then that would be great. That would be better instead of nothing, right? And here's another version of your Swedish interval workouts done by another EAT success story named Lisa, right? And you've seen what John and I do, and you've seen what other people do. So it will entirely depend on the person, and it doesn't need to be those exercises that I mentioned a while ago either. Right? Doesn't need to be running, doesn't need to be jump rope, doesn't need to be biking if you don't like any of those things. You can actually start out using pretty much any exercise that you are comfortable with, right? And of course, you need to communicate to your consultant, to John, very specifically what you can do and what you want to do. For me personally, the latter, meaning want to do, is way more important because that would mean that you're not going to be forced into doing it every day or whenever it is you're forecasted to do so, right? You'd want to actually really love the workout that you're going to be doing, and so that whenever you're forecasted to do them, it won't be a hassle for you. You actually want to do them no matter what it was, right? So you pick out a particular exercise, like maybe dancing. Maybe you like dancing. Maybe you like what do you call this? Maybe you like a hula hoop, right? I know a person who does hula hoops for exercise, and that's great. Maybe you like aerobics or something else. As long as you properly communicate it to your consultant on how to best use that for your eating and exercise timing, you can use that. So how does this eventually become an ideal Swedish interval workout, right? The format, I mean. Well, one thing we have when eating and exercise timing is something called progressions, right? We progress from one thing to something to a more ideal level, right? So the most ideal level is, what I was mentioning at the start, which is the fast and then slow and then fast and then slow interval workout that'll break down your muscles and successfully create that what do you call this, metabolic window, so that you can eat your treats and they can actually be better for you in terms of burning fat in the long run and so on, right? Because your body will really need them during that time. But if you can't do that specific exercise format at the moment, then again, you can do an exercise or that you like at that moment, and then as long as you work really closely and really well with your EAT consultant, then he or she can give the best recommendation for that exercise. You can definitely do them and eventually transition to the more ideal one where you can more successfully create your metabolic window, right? So that would be great. But please don't be discouraged that and maybe say that I just won't do any exercise at all, since they won't create metabolic windows anyway, the way I'm doing them. And again, that's not true. Doing some sort of physical activity or exercise during the recommended times and so forth are much better for you than not doing anything at all. It would be way better for your fat burning for you to incorporate more exercise, more physical activity day to day. Sure, they might not be in the ideal format for creating the metabolic window and burning more fat at the start. We'll get there. Everyone starts out somewhere. Even me, I've been doing EAT for 11 months to this day. But at first, even the exercise I started with were far from ideal. And then I just worked with John through the months, and now look at me. I'm doing stepping, jump rope, exercise bike. All of these are more ideal exercises in the more ideal Swedish interval format, and I love them now. I've been used to, I had to work my way up to actually liking these exercises, and that's something your EAT consultant will definitely help you with, help you transition and again progress using EAT progressions, so you can still like the more ideal ones. Again, guidelines, not rules. We're never going to force you to do the more ideal versions of these things if you don't want to, right? So again, Swedish intervals, great for fat burning, creating the metabolic window, but you should start at your comfort level. You should start where you're happy with. You should never force yourself to do exercises, but please realize that more physical activity and more exercises, as recommended by your EAT consultant, will be better for you in the long run, for your health, for your fitness, and for your fat burning. Alright, so thank you very much, guys. This has been Noel Blanco for the eating and exercise timing, talking about Swedish intervals, and please ask any questions you may have during the rest of this webinar. Thank you very much, guys, and see ya.